What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So Godzilla Kong the New Empire is now in theaters. I was able to check it out over the weekend. Gave my review already, so check that out if you haven't. But it is now a good time to rank all of the projects, all the movies and shows that are included within the MonsterVerse. It's time to rank them. But before I do, consider subscribing to the channel, as I do these ranking videos. I do a bunch of different videos about movies. So if you're into movies as much as I am, consider subscribing to the channel and turn notifications on so you know I post another video. But without further ado, let's get into this ranking. So like I was saying, there's a total of 7 projects, including movies and TV shows, that we have in the whole MonsterVerse. That includes 2 shows and that includes 5 movies. So coming in at the bottom for me is going to be the animated series that's on Netflix currently, which is going to be Skull Island, the animated series. Now with this animated series, I just remember it. I remember watching it last year, it premiered last year, and I just remember this. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I just remember watching it, and it wasn't necessarily bad or anything like that, but I just remember it being alright. It was just okay to me, you know. And it did do some interesting things. I was able to introduce some interesting new monsters from Skull Island. But I really haven't had an urge to go back and rewatch it. I don't even know if this is getting a season 2 or not. So we'll see. If it happens to get season 2, maybe I'll check out season 2 and see how it lives up to season 1. But other than that, I really haven't had an urge to go back and rewatch this animated series. Coming in at the next spot is going to be Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now with this one is definitely different. And with this ranking, I kind of rewatched a majority of the movies. And with this one, upon rewatch, I kind of like it a little bit more. I still think that the story, the human-sized story, is bad. It sucks in this movie. I still think it's boring at times in this movie, and that's what kind of holds this movie back a little bit for me. But when it comes to like the kaiju battles, the kaiju action that we get with this, it's amazing. It's awesome. It's epic, and the way that they're able to sucker me in a little bit with these epic shots of the battles and this big swelling music, it's very, honestly, I'm entertained by it and I have fun with it. You know, we have Ghidorah in this movie, we have Rodan in this movie, and a couple other tiny appearances. Mothra's in this movie too, which is pretty cool, especially with me being a kid watching the Japanese Godzilla movies, and I remember Mothra very well from some of the Japanese Godzilla movies. So it was really cool to be able to see her on screen and see her in this movie. But like I was saying, just the human-sized story is just boring to me. It's just a drag to get through, and it's a drag to get through, and to finally be able to get some of those cool kaiju action battles, it just feels like sometimes not worth it. But then the action gets started, and it just, you have fun with it, you know. But still that human-sized story is so bad, and it drags so much. And getting to the next spot on the list, and that is going to be Godzilla from 2014. Now the thing with this movie is that I really do like this movie. I can be able to enjoy this movie and enjoy some of the things that this movie does. It's just another thing that, you know, a thing that a lot of the movies suffer in this whole MonsterVerse is that the human side stories are not very strong, and this one is included. I think you get a very interesting, compelling villain with Bryan Cranston, but he's killed off so early in the movie, and we're just left with Aaron Taylor Johnson. Which, nothing against Aaron Taylor Johnson as an actor. I really do like him as an actor and all that. But the way he plays this character, the way it's like scripted out, the way we're getting his story, he just feels like he's just along for the ride. And we just get his kind of side of the story to where we're just waiting and waiting for Godzilla to show up on screen. In this movie, the way they do Godzilla in this movie is like, it's a good thing and it's kind of a bad thing. You know, it's a good thing to where it's like, it's making you wait, it's making you long for that appearance, that first appearance of Godzilla, to see him fully fleshed out and be able to finally see him whole on screen. And it just takes so long to get to that point. But, you know, that's also the bad thing about it, that it takes so long to get to that point, and they keep teasing you and keep teasing you, and they finally get him on screen. And although it is pretty epic to finally get him on screen and see him in his full power and all that, and the final battle in San Francisco is awesome when he's going up against the Mutos. But still, like I said, the human-sized story with Aaron Taylor Johnson is, it just drags a little for me. He just seems like he's just along for the ride, and he doesn't really have anything that much going on with him. So that's some of the things that hold this movie back for me a little bit. I don't rewatch this movie a whole lot, and I don't really have urges to rewatch this movie a whole lot when it comes to other movies in the MonsterVerse. I think Garrett Edwards did a good job directing this movie, visually at least, and you get a lot of great visuals in this movie. But like I said, just a couple of things that hold this movie back. The human side story, of course, nothing new. But yeah, this is at that spot right now. And we're getting into the next movie, and that's going to be Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, this was a tough battle for these next couple ones. And with this one, I have a lot of fun with this one. This one is probably one of the ones I rewatched the most in the whole MonsterVerse. I just am entertained by this movie. I enjoy this movie so much. I have a lot of fun. It's just dumb, fun action, just like a couple of the other MonsterVerse movies. And we get some great kaiju action in this one, especially when it comes to Godzilla versus Kong in the final battle. And then when they finally team up to go against Mechagodzilla, ooh, it's epic. It's epic, man. I'm telling you, it's epic. I enjoy that scene so much. I enjoy the final battle so much. And just enjoy the battle between Godzilla versus Kong. And then when they finally team up to take on Mechagodzilla, it's awesome. It's awesome. So a lot of good things happen in this movie. I enjoy it so much. I have fun with it. I'm entertained. I'm never bored with it, really. But of course, the human side story is not very strong. Like I said, y'all going to hear me say that for almost every single MonsterVerse movie. And it's just a common thread between these MonsterVerse movies where the human side story is not very strong. You don't really... They're not compelling characters. You don't get a compelling story with them. You're not invested in their story. You're not really interested in it too much. At least with this one, I'm not as bored with it as some of the other ones. But still, it's not a very strong human side story. But I can at least ignore that and be able to have fun with this and have the fun action going on with this one and just see those ultimate awesome battles go on. And moving into the next spot is going to be the newly released Godzilla X Kong. Now this could be recent bias, but I had so much fun with this movie. And when it comes to this movie and Godzilla vs. Kong, I think this movie edges out Godzilla vs. Kong just slightly with a couple of details. This movie actually made me laugh a little bit more than Godzilla vs. Kong. And when it comes to the human side story, it's still not a strong story, but it is a little more interesting than the story that we get in Godzilla vs. Kong. I was actually slightly intrigued with this human side story, although, like I said, not a very strong story, but I was at least intrigued by it. And we do get some returning characters, and we get another interesting addition when it comes to a new character that's actually kind of, a highlight out of the character group. But with this one, we're able to see a bunch of battles go on, especially with, Godzilla has his little one hits here and there around the globe. The quick second battles that we're able to see with Godzilla. And of course, we get this whole journey, this whole story with Kong. He's really basically the main character of this movie. And we go on this journey and we get this story with him. And he's one of those characters, when it comes to the Titans, I believe he is the Titan that we can actually emotionally connect to better than other Titans. You're able to sort of read his facial expressions. You're able to see the journey he goes on and the story that he goes on. And you're able to kind of emotionally connect with that. But I enjoyed this movie so much. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast with it. It put a smile across my face. It made me laugh a couple of times here and there. It just feels like a Saturday morning cartoon. Or, it feels like when you were younger, you had your action figures. You're over there playing with them and beating them against each other. It's just a lot of epic shots and a lot of epic battles going on in this one. Just a lot of great kaiju titan action going on with this one. I just had a lot of fun watching this in theaters. It was just crazy. It's bonkers. And I just love it. I love this kind of stuff. It's awesome to me. And it's epic. But we get to the number 2 spot. And that's going to be the Monarch Legacy of Monsters series that streams on Apple TV. With this one, I thought I was very interested and very intrigued going off of the early trailer that we got for this movie, to where it was going to kind of give us more information within the whole MonsterVerse, going into the sort of Monarch side of things and seeing how the concepts, different things that they are able to go through. And this one had a definitely better human story with it. I'll say this one is probably one of the better human side stories in all of the MonsterVerse. We're able to get a couple stories here and there as it does flashbacks and it does present time stuff, and they're able to juggle different storylines, and you're able to see them unfold and being able to go on these journeys with these characters, and they're a little bit more interesting compared to other characters that we have in MonsterVerse. I was actually interested in this story that was going on with them, And you know, you have Kurt Russell in here, who's a awesome addition. White Russell, which they're both playing the same character but at different points in time, which is very interesting. You're able to get a couple kaiju action and kaiju battles in here. Not as much as some of the other movies, but you're still able to get those hints and be able to see some new titans that you haven't seen before. So that's kind of cool and awesome to see that too. And it's able to introduce a new concept to the whole MonsterVerse that's really kind of interesting. It's an interesting concept that they're able to introduce in this show, and I'm wondering, and I'm very intrigued. Are they going to be able to use that concept in the second season, or are they going to use it in movies to come? I don't know for sure, but it did introduce a interesting concept. Honestly, if you enjoy the MonsterVerse overall, I definitely recommend checking out the series. But I think the series is actually pretty good. So I was able to be interested in it and be able to have some fun, at least decent fun with this one. You know, it's not like funny, or I mean, you can have some fun with it. You know, it's kind of funny here and there, but it's not like bonkers or over the top craziness like some of the other MonsterVerse movies. This one is definitely a more streamlined kind of story going on. But I honestly really did like the series. And we get to the number one spot, and that's going to be Kong Skull Island. Now with this one, I feel like it's stylistically different. You know, the way that it's shot, the way that the director is filming this one, it definitely feels like it's a sort of war movie, like a 70s war type movie, and you get to see that the ramifications of that. You have a lot of great imagery going on, especially when it comes to like close up to eye shots. There's a lot of eye shots in this movie to where it shows emotion or shows the chaos, and you're able to see reflections of some of the action that's going on, and it's a very interesting concept that they use within this movie. And you're able to get point of view shots, POV shots, and it almost feels like they're in a video game at times, because you're like, it's like a first person shooter at almost like a video game that you're seeing through just a first person point of view with these characters at times. So it's very interesting how they're able to do that within this movie. You get a lot of great action in this movie, a lot of great scenes with Kong as he takes on some as he's chasing these people down, he's trying to protect his island, and you get some other great action going on where he takes on the skull crawlers. And you have a pretty good cast in here. You know, you got Tom Hiddleston in here, Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, a couple other people, John Goodman, and then the human side story, I think, is actually a pretty good one. You're actually able to get invested with these characters as they go on this journey across Skull Island, just trying to survive, and you get invested with these characters, invested with what's going on or what's going to happen next. But like I was saying, some of these shots, they just feel like they're like just pulled out of a war movie. Like the way that one of the shots that I like is how they're coming in on the helicopters, and then we get to see Kong, and it's just a silhouette of him in front of a sun. It looks epic. It looks like an epic war shot from a movie. And then we get that final third act battle where he takes on the big skull crawler. It's epic. It's awesome. I love that battle. It's awesome battle that goes on between Kong and the skull crawler. The way that he's able to fight the skull crawler, like he just uses like this the turbine or whatever that thing on the boat is called. He uses that as like a brass knuckle, and he's like swinging it around too. And then the final epic shot where he wins against the skull crawler, where he pulls out his insides out from his mouth. It's awesome. It's epic. I love it. Really, honestly, I would honestly be interested. Like, if this director was to return, I'll honestly be interested in seeing what he's able to do with another Kong movie, or like a Godzilla and Kong movie. How he's able to interact with those two characters together in a movie. That'd be kind of interesting. If he's able to bring his own style to this, that'd be kind of interesting to see what he's able to do if he was to come back and direct something. But yeah, honestly, arguably, I think this is the best movie in the MonsterVerse, Kong Skull Island. But yeah, that is going to do it for my ranking. Definitely let me know down in the comments below, how would you rank all of these movies and shows? Like I was saying before, consider subscribing to the channel, as I do a bunch of ranking videos, and I do other videos that involve movies. So if you enjoy movies as much as I do, definitely consider subscribing and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hope y'all have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one.